Hello, and welcome to Squadline Battle. It's me, Garfnix, back for another one. Excited, as always, to be here on Server 2. Looking forward to a good one tonight, hopefully. We're going to be seeing a rematch from the commanders that we had last week. Glann and Nazbrock, apologies on my behalf for not managing to capture the game correctly last week. You know, in a hotel room with the laptop. We tried. It's been successful in the past. It was less successful last time, to the point of complete failure. So hopefully I can give you a decent stream today. I'm checking now. Seems like the sound's working. Seems like the delay's correct. So let's get into talking about this game. So we've got the Axis admin cam tonight. Haven't got the allied cam. Want to get this sorted out. Stay tuned. Next week we're going to have both cameras or both maps hopefully, so stay tuned for that. But tonight we're just following the Axis and we're going to be therefore on Glann's side. Let's just jump over into the strat sketch. As I said, Eglise. So we've got the US lines on the right and the German lines where we'll be coming from on the left of the screen that you see now. Now I can draw those in. So blue tonight, as I say, is going to be Germans, and red you're seeing the Allies. So in terms of the centre points, Eglise, very well known map. At this point I don't need to kind of go on probably for too long about these middle points, but Eglise Church definitely favouring the Allies. They have much kind of more covered approaches. They can set up in these buildings here and have some proximity to the church to give them the flanks. They also get the advantage probably with tanks, because the Axis can push a tank down this way or even get into here, but they will come across enemies with angles on them because they'll be stuck down these roads. The church itself, of course, is right inside the hard point and basically the only cover inside the hard point, so it's critical to capture the church if it's Eglise central point. The way to do that is to both get inside but also get positions in these gardens here, and the Germans are going to want to kind of push through these buildings and for sure get round the back, get to this angle where they can get shots out over the church and this building to the rear of the church as well. So if it's Eglise, this is most likely what we'll see. Any second points after that, Ruda Harass, Western Approach, Ruda Gambersville, they all have fairly covered retreats, so if they're good at getting back and defending and redeploying, then they're relatively manageable, all of them. Western Approach has a lot of different approaches to it, approaches, but the Allies can kind of come in from multiple angles down the road. They can even flank all the way round whilst you're distracted with the frontal attack. They can also come in from the side. So Western Approach, quite tricky from that perspective. Ruda Harass, enemies will almost always end up coming down these roads. Otherwise, just watch out for the airhead or whatever dropping behind, because they will try and push this road too, but we're able to stop them flanking down on this bottom part. If I get rid of some of these other lines, you can stop the Allies getting to here and fend them off here as well. Just keep an eye out around the back for the airhead or whatever dropping supplies. Then it's relatively manageable, and it is possible for them to get back in defence and relaunch a counterattack. Ruda Gambersville is probably even better really. it's quite hard for the Allies to get around. It is possible to push this hedge line, and you can get round the back here, but it's less, I don't know, it's not as easy to get round the back, and the kind of garrison position is a bit more out in the open, although one down here can be effective, but it's not that easy if you've got defenders in this area in particular, and in the buildings themselves. So going the other way, the Allies artillery battery, probably one of the more favoured, although Cemetery is probably the best overall, just for the fact of how close it is to Samer Eglise. In some ways that's a negative, because obviously the Germans don't have far, you can see, to get over there, and you know, they can kind of flank around after a while, but for the counter-attack obviously that is also good, because if you hold this area here, and also the cemetery, and protect it from the bottom, just be counter-attacking the whole time, whilst sort of defending simultaneously, so quite good from that perspective. And as I said before, the Allies having the advantage through the anyway, so cemetery not too bad if it's Samer Eglise, and Maison, quite a long way to have to run for the Germans. They need to be careful to redeploy their if they lose Samer Eglise or the middle point, the Allies, because you need to ready to fend off an attack, because it's so close here to the edge of the sector, and the Germans really have hardly any distance to run, and can build a garrison very close and have people in, like, pushing in very, very quickly. So checkpoint, lots of tank plays down at checkpoint as always, with kind of sight lines to and fro over these open fields down the bottom. Oftentimes you'll see tanks play out through this area as well and into the back garden, for the Allies, kind of protecting that area. The buildings up here and through this area, as well as the buildings in the back of the point, will be the kind of vital, the critical areas, I suppose, for the Germans, and kind of vice versa for the Allies. They're going to want to clear out those areas and push through them. They're going to want to take the point. Up at Hospice, let's get rid of some of the lines. Up at Hospice, you're going to see tank plays, so Germans with their tanks through the kind of wheat fields at the back, and this big open area this way for Allied tanks, potentially even pushing through down the hedgerows. Sometimes can even see a German recon tank coming in around the back, but primarily an infantry type of like mainly infantry hardpoint, based hardpoint, and you'll see lots of Germans moving through these bushes here, trying to get positions over this side. That's an area that the Allies will want to reach, defend, attack from themselves. Oftentimes you see Allies trying to set up in this area. You often also see Allies kind of back gardens here, and vice versa. See Germans in these areas, and whoever kind of goes the deepest and flanks around the most can often win those fights. But even then, especially for the Germans, having to get into this kind of back garden can be quite tricky. It's usually quite a bit easier for the Allies if they've got control, although to get back in for the Allies, it is quite a long run across this field here, and trying to get into these positions down the road, you're obviously very predictable. And if the Germans obviously can set up well and be pushing this way, then they can defend, as long as they keep eyes on the road and keep watching out behind themselves as well, because can get spawns quite a long way away from Hospice that allow flanks. I should have put that in red, to allow flanks. So they're the kind of middle points tonight. We'll see what happens. Hopefully it won't be another quick one. We've had a few recently, but I know, speaking to the commanders, who are hopefully going to come in the chat after the game, that we're not looking for a quick one tonight. I'm just waiting for the map to flip now. I'll jump into the game. We'll see. I was talking to somebody about this yesterday, and sometimes it crashes the game if I'm in the admin cam, but I haven't, to be fair, tested it in a while. I would test it off stream, but nobody gives me the rights to their servers that I can just like jump in and start messing around with stuff like that. So what I will do is get into the game and I'll spawn my guy and get up in the sky, and then we'll have a look at the disposition of the teams before we get going. So Glann, the commander tonight, as I mentioned, for the Axis, going to be hopefully coming in the chat at the end. Hopefully Nazbrock as well. We've had Nazbrock on the stream before, of course, but we'll try and get that sorted out to have them both on. I know they've both been kind of speaking before the game about making sure to, I suppose, take it seriously and kind of crack down on any any problems with defence, which we think it's been fair to say there's been a few as of late, sort of throughout some of these games on Squad Line Battle, but maybe more in the game in general anyway, I don't know, but certainly in Squad Line Battle in the last kind of few episodes, I've seen quite short games, a lot of that because people, some seemingly reluctant to redeploy, or maybe they just don't even have the places to redeploy to, and you know, it's a team effort, of course. So there has to be somewhere for them to actually spawn a garrison or something in a relevant area, but you know, in order for that to happen, there needs to be some sort of communication and stuff. So Squad Line Battle, of course, is the you know, the purpose of this is to be basically like a public game, but with people who know a bit better what they're doing. You kind of come along as a squad. You don't come along necessarily just as an individual, but you can if you have a group of individuals. But oftentimes we see that it's communities from the competitive scene who kind of book out squads and fill up a squad with their guys. Tonight we've got PBS, we've got Hell Let Loose Poland, we've got 1st Airborne, we've got 82 AD, Don D. Thanks to them, by the way, for the server, and thanks to Core for providing server 1. Thanks as always to Werner Voss, S1, Dragster, all for arranging Squad Line Battle. It's really fantastic that we can have this put on for us every week. It's definitely greatly appreciated. We've got Blacklist players here as well. We've got Void, we've got Crayon Munchers, Lost Squad, we've got who else? I'm sure I saw yeah, CC as well. So DCR, like there's lots and lots of squads here, or lots of communities, sorry, making up the squads here. But we've also got kind of individual players as well. So all you have to do to sign up, and you can bring your own squad, or you can come, you know, try and join somebody else's, or join with your community. All you do is just join the Discord server. Just search Squad Line Battle Hell Let Loose in Google and you'll be able to find it. Yeah, you can come along, sign up on a Wednesday for the next week's game. You can vote for the map, and yeah, just come on, have fun, play as Commander, play as Recon, play as tanks, whatever you like. The whole point is just communication and knowing what you're doing. And so hopefully we're going to have a game that involves that tonight. As I said, Glann and Nazbrock, the two commanders, have kind of been, I don't know, talking ahead of game a little bit and like agreeing to have a good game, I suppose. So hopefully that will make it, you know, a nice quality for us to watch, but also for the players to play this week. So very much looking forward to seeing that in action. We're just about to restart the game here, so I'll get us in just now. And when the server flips in just a few seconds, we'll get going with the stream. Thank you, by the way, to everybody who's followed, everybody who subscribed. It's literally crazy. I can't believe that I've got 28 subscribers now. Like, what the hell? That's insane. You're not insane. I'm sorry, you're not insane. You're very great, and thank you very much for showing me the support. But the situation is quite crazy for me to think that, yeah, I could have any subscribers, let alone 28. So thank you all very much. Thank you just for watching. Obviously, you don't have to subscribe to watch. Make sure you go and check out all the other free content over on the YouTube as well. The link is in the About section. Let's get up in the sky here. And see what's going on. Okay, so as I said before, we are on the German side, so we're on the left hand side of the map here, and we can see everybody getting into the truck in this first transport truck. In the middle, we've got Mirello and Nitroglycerina as the squad leaders. We've got Seeker from Hell Let Loose Poland with some supplies, and also Derlant 85. So they're probably going to be trying to get a garrison up at some location. We've got Glann taking the supply truck from middle. We have some people spawning in at A1. I guess they're taking this supply truck 2. Recon tank with FLK, Kappa, etc. Star Crusader. They're going with the recon squads and the recon tank together there, and some more infantry jumping in here. We've got artillery markers going down, so I guess we've got artillery squad. Maybe that's Fox, so we'll keep a lookout for Cato. Although I would think Cato is probably attacking, but I'm not entirely certain, of course. We've got defend marker going down on the southeast here, or like the sort of south of the Samer Eglise, and an attack out to the southeast. This is where the garrison's going. Placing the marker there. Get to see the markers today, of course, because playing on squad line battle, I get to be a squad leader. Sometimes in regular competitive, I don't get to play a squad leader, so I can't see all the marks on the map, which is understandable why they don't have the space on the team, but unfortunate for us watching, because as you can see, this is quite useful, and especially when the infantry markers start coming in, it's good to be able to understand who is kind of doing what. On the other side, Nazbrock over here on the artillery, so commanding from the back at the moment. They've got just a couple players in that truck there. Almost a full truck here. Doesn't tell me the full content, but we've got some squad leaders and the supply truck looking to move. So right now we are here in I6. They're kind of looking to move out this way, it looks like. Down to the south, you can see the map down here in A10. It's a bit like twisted around. Okay, so yeah, they're going down towards Rousseau de Ferme and Maison de Cric. Got supplies now dropping on us, just right on the edge of this sector, or the line of the red, where they can build their garrison in G5. So that's where we are right now with these supplies that you can see on the ground below us. We've got trucks coming this way, so that's going to be where they're going to put up a garrison, and that goes to show what I was saying before, where they have this kind of covered approach through the buildings into the church, with Saint-Marie Eglise as the middle point. Western approach, kind of not a great one in a way for the Axis, although they will, if they can kind of get back a little bit, if it gets capped here at Saint-Marie Eglise, which it likely will by the Allies, who have arrived first, as you can see. Might be going to get artilleried in a moment, although that artillery marker before wasn't it like out the back yet? It's gone now. 82 AD squad over there. Thorpe, a very, very good shooter, so better watch out if you're playing on that side of the map. Down to the south of the church. Allies spreading out well here. They've already taken the church, we said was so important. This was the building I was talking about before. No one choosing to jump into it yet. They're kind of going quite a lot wider than that, with the DCR squad moving to the north. They're going to try and catch these players out as they move through the back garden. It's this allotment area. But they're not able here, the DCR squad, to cover this area that easily. The tank comes up though and helps with that. Riordan in the top of the building here for that Allies. But the Axis in blue are arriving en masse now. We've got Nitroglycerina down the road here as Jig Squad. If I turn around so we're the same way as the map, you can see the church out here to our right, with the recon plane marker going over, so that's going to be going top to bottom just now, so we'll see that soon. That's Nitroglycerina that you can see down there in the buildings on the left hand side of the road. Tank marks have gone down over there. They're not quite accurate anymore, as you can see. trying to get my highlighting correct. See Kato, but can we see enemies in red? Yes, we can. So a nice satchel here on the church could be important for the Axis, but they're going to have to get there first. As I was saying before, Western approach, if they can fall back, if they can build some garrisons, they have got some up, some kind of defensive garrisons, although nothing close to the point, which is interesting. If it were me, I'd be tempted to build something a little bit closer to Western approach. There are quite obvious spots to get shelled, it's true, like if you build your garrison close, but at the same time, where they have to run is actually deceptively far here. That's 200 meters. That's about 220 meters, so over a minute's run on both if they ran straight. Both routes, if you run straight, is across an open field, so not ideal. We've got the tank over here that we can see in green. Alexei, Zune and Barho from Lost Squad. Moving up to the north. I guess they're sitting in defence for now. It looks like Mac from Void over there is kind of playing wide defence, looking out for any of these flanking plays. The same with the Hell Let Loose Poland squad, and actually both teams are doing a good job of lining up against each other here in what's nice to see, a little bit of a meat grinder. However, Western approach is already being capped, as you can see, and that is going to be a problem if they can't get back quickly. And as I said before, it's not really that close. Okay, they've got this one pushed right up in D5 on the edge of the sector, but it's not ideal. You can see they've spawned in below us here on the garrison, and they do have a route up here through the wheat field that we can see below us. This is the Badger here doing the capping. Wombo and Oxidus in the recon tank. Kind of pausing. Has it heard something or seen something? Only the soft cap then on Western at the moment, but if that had been a half track, things could have been a bit different. One man army Thorpe below us against Delant. Kyle as well, who somehow gets shot as Thorpe jumps over the wall. Nitro's down. Gintoni's down. This is Thorpe in action. He's got the OP. Just keeping an eye on that tank marker. Don't know if they've dealt with that yet. Calvin going down to somebody further down the road to our right. But Thorpe dies to Miracle. Nice kill. So they've secured these gardens, as you can see. And the Allies have also well and truly consolidated the church, although Tidy goes down up in the crow's nest up there. They're not using this building that I mentioned before. I just heard... Where's their supplies? So here's the garrison from before, right? Where is it? Just here. Yeah, so here's a garrison from before. So 200 meters from that, there's probably one here. There might be one over on this side too, so we'll go check that. So as you can see now, we're looking over F6 towards the south of Samaragli. That's the church there to the right of the screen. Wave Rider falling through the map somehow. Top quality game. I suspect they have some spawns over in this area, the Allies. So we'll just see if we can find where they're coming from. Somewhat easier where you can see it like this. You can see them all spawn in, of course. So there's an OP down here below us. Sure, there's probably another one, if not a garrison. And then there's likely a garrison over in these gardens somewhere. Yes, there it is. So the reason why I say that is because looking at where the other one was, you can't build garrisons within 200 meters of each other, and this is about 200 meters away, but it's not inside this circle, which is completely out in the open. It could be inside the chapel, but it's unlikely because it's quite hard to build OPs and garrisons in there, if possible at all. I haven't tried it in a long time. And it makes it so that you're kind of stuck in that church, which isn't necessarily where you want to be. Hopefully the stream is broadcasting okay. Looks like Lonkeys is here, so nice to see you. Oh, do we have a problem with the... Maybe, yes. Okay, so hopefully you should be able to see red and blue now. At the top with the allies and the Axis. My apologies for that. Where's this truck? Okay. Supply truck below us with the commander in, Glann, who we're going to speak to later. Probably building a garrison out here. It's right on the edge of the red and blue. The significance of that is that if you build a garrison within a blue sector, like one of these ones, then enemies have to get within 10 meters of it to block it from spawning. You see how this one's blocked from spawning. But in the red, if you build it just across the line here, and it's in a red sector, then enemies only have to be within 100 meters to completely block it from spawning, which is why this one's blocked. But it could be blocked by enemies on the road here, because it's within 100 meters of the road. Each one of these squares, by the way, is 200 meters by 200. Didn't know that? Then it's helpful for kind of working out how far things are by eye, of course. This little Stuart's still in the game. Interesting tank plays at the moment. We've kind of got light tanks floating around, recon tanks still floating around. That's coming in the back here of the church, which is an interesting play. A little bit out by themselves. They're probably hoping to be able to put some cap power on, but there's Stuart's here. Greyhound with the advantage. I don't know why he didn't shoot him in the back there. That was crazy. Maybe that was HE rounds. But he's kind of given up the good position. Mazek has a satchel. Has a rocket. It goes down too. Fairly unsuccessful attempt there by the Greyhound to infiltrate the back of the church unsupported. Unfortunately not able to take out that tank when they had the chance. Keeping again quite a good front line, as I said. If they can hold them up in these buildings, then the Germans should stand a decent chance of actually defending here. They just need to obviously be careful of these flanks. Looking up to the north there, I don't see too many little red dots. Worst guitarist way down here to the south, so it looks like the flank isn't really on at the moment. However, is a squad leader for the recon squad. Supplies here next to the German Gary that you can see below in the field here. Ghost recon trying to take them down but gets shot in the process. Carl, Miff, Marrell, Caro here. Moving into this building at the junction. A very important area if we were talking about crossroads, this point down here. Less so right now. You can see that actually it's just outside of the sector, the 4 squares of Samurai Eglise. This back garden area is kind of just outside. Or part of it's just outside, so if they can be kind of pushed back into this area, the Allies, then they're not actually providing any attacking or defending power, like, so they're not defending their sector, these 4 squares, and obviously they're not attacking Western either. But on the flip side, right now, these German players, they're not doing anything. If they can push through and take the buildings and move up the road, they'll be counting towards attacking power on the sector, but right now they're just completely stuck down here in D7. So let's leave them for a moment and go back to this area of buildings out through the back gardens. You can see that actually the Germans have been pushed back quite well. The Allies doing a good job. They've got their most attacking players forward. Let's catch up with Thorpe again. 82 AD now out of the spring seasonal. Not Thorpe's fault though. Gets another 2 kills down the road. I'm not quick enough to film it all. Takes out some supplies. The artillery's now falling. That's enemy artillery, allied artillery. And that's how you got to get him. From above or from the side with the machine gun like we saw before. But helping along with the other allies to make that push through the buildings, and you can see that actually they're getting quite close, worryingly close here to Western approach. Only really got this field here to cross, and there's this nice approach down through the ditch. Glann going down to maybe critical. Not ideal. Enemy spawning in below us at Love's OP. They do have this half track that you can see in green below us. But how much longer until there's enemies on it? Allies in the buildings ahead and to the left of us with Iggy moving down that ditch. Looks like that spawn a little bit pushed up. It's getting rushed right now. See the garrison on the map there just outside of the hard point, and Iggy's inside. A big spawn wave at the half track. More people dying coming off the garrison over there. Revenant as well goes down, and the Gary's about to get overtaken here by Q. Nitro spawns in. Very, very difficult situation for him. A miss with the rocket. Q's going to get it. Only 10 seconds to take down a garrison in the first enemy sector. Cannon fodder now in this critical area with the broken building. Can he make it count? Logic and Ghost Recon also moving up to assist. Not looking great for the Germans here. They need to get some kills out here. Struggling quite a bit though. Havoc dies inside the building, but trades. Cannon fodder's down in that broken building to the right of the screen. Q goes down. Ghost Recon out to the right as well, just on the bush line. Shooting back towards the wheat field behind us, towards Hertan, right down in the bottom right of the screen. Here comes a bombing run, and that's a very effective bombing run coming in from Nazbrock, from their allies, and they're starting to cap here at Western approach. Ghost Recon's managed to stay up, and Matt Avatar is pushing in as well. Odysseus with the machine gun looking to get set up somewhere. At risk of Nitro now. Yep, goes down to Nitro. Can't ADS with that machine gun very quickly. Very difficult to be caught out in the open like that. But they are doing a good job of getting into this building. And more allies up to the top left of the screen pushing as well. Down from this area. You can see they've been marked below us by Fox Squad in the building, and the Germans have got back relatively effectively here, but in those gunfights it's kind of going 2 to 1 at the moment for the Allies, and it's only a matter of time before some of those other really good players turn up again. Not sure what happened to Thorpe. Maybe his was an OP that went down. But Western definitely under quite heavy attack here. You can see all of these outposts hot. Garrison hot. TN6 gets 2 kills to the 1. And this is the thing. They're just getting whittled away here, the Germans. An hour and 8 minutes left in the game. But doing a nice job of getting people back here. They've understood that they need to fight back hard and push back out of this area, and that's what they're doing here. They've also got the Tiger backing them up now. We can see below us, coming under fire as well. It looks like Zoom's repairing below us. I think they understand where they're coming from now. Nitroglycerina, Scotland, etc. are moving towards TN6 and Logic. Scotland with the push. Goes down. Unfortunate. But the spawn's marked. And that's good play here from the Germans. They've still got this little fight going on at this building, which is interesting because, as I said before, is somewhat less important as a place to attack, but they seem to have cleared it out. And that has allowed Kugo to actually get somewhere here. He is inside the 4 squares of St. Mary Eglise Church here. So is sorry, Zakal. Sorry, mate. So bad at pronouncing everyone's names. Always. Never changes. He's not going to be able to get a garrison up here because it's going to be hot. Proximity to obviously 400 meters. Nice kill. And they're in the church now, the Germans. So this could be it. The counter-attack is on. Jack running in now. But Zakal and crew inside the church. Zakal with another nice kill on Jack. I thought he just sprinted at the last moment there and was going to run into the gunfire, but that's a nice job to get into the church and hold it here from the Germans. This is where it is tricky always to have to run and get back to that church. They need to keep some people outside though to stop the Allies just running up and putting a satchel on it. They have got FLK up in the tower here, but there's people all around, although they seem to be dead now, so very good work there. Going for the satchel. Yep. Church is satcheled. This is the problem. All of those players in there most likely will die. Which is quite unfortunate. Because look how far capped it is. They do still have their OP over here. But that satchel is going to really hurt them. They won't be capping for long here. There's a lot of allies. They're already defending it. And the satchel hasn't even gone off yet. Here it goes. That's 3 down inside the church. Warhamster with the nice satchel there. To defend. See, they're taking it back now. And there's also flanks going on in D4 and D6, so let's go check those out. We've got Alfie, Spearhead, Cannon Fodder, Damocles, Ghost Recon, Worst Guitarist, all out here, flanking right the way around. You can see Western approach. This Tiger's still here trying to pick off the enemies behind. Just taking pot shots at the garrison, basically. But there is a tank coming now. It's only a Stuart, but that can kill a Tiger. He got the sight line here. He knows he's there, he can hear him, you can see the Stuart moving slowly towards the area now. Western's getting capped. Logic, TN6 inside that point again. They've managed to get their garrison up, so they have got one a little bit further back where we saw their land just spawn in there. Kyle as well. There goes the half track just as some people spawn in. The Tiger's still up. That was a great shot there from the Stuart. Picked the half track over the Tiger as a target. Very smart. Garrison's going to be going down any second. Cadden fodder is on it. Michael Jordan and Virtual spawning in, but everybody dies to that satchel. Was that a satchel? Just a nade. Can't have been a nade. Oh, it could have been the tank. Trying to guess the size of the explosions here, but we're in a cap race. They're doing quite well out the back here, the Germans of Eglise. Eglise. Get my maps mixed up here. So it's pretty tense. They are capping over there, but they're getting capped on here. They're taking it back now, the Germans, so let's get over to Eglise. They've got people in the church again, and a nice dispersion up to the south. Meshek, Jackie. Pushing the church, but can they get a satchel on it again? Meshek, I guess, with the satchel, but Jackie's down. High lefty on the other side. Doesn't have a satchel. Just looking to run in the front door. Oh my god. I swear I'll get control of this camera one day. Bumping off things, not bumping off things, going through the floor. Nicely defended here again by the Allies. Spawned in this back area. As I mentioned before, I'm sure they've got a garrison over here. This is the spot. It's 200 meters from their other garrison back here, and it's a great spot for a garrison. So I'm guessing they've got one there. Let's see if they've still got this one up out the back here. No. Suspect they probably have another one around here though. Next week we'll get both of the maps up. I promise. Just literally have to have 2 copies of the game and enough spaces. Meshek going for the satchel. Just placing the mine like a troll. Doesn't have a satchel. Gets shot in the doorway. The cap's back on here. Eglise. They haven't dropped any supplies or anything like that down at Maison, but they do have this garrison. They cap here, the Germans. All these people at Western, they could be redeploying up here. They might want to come back for some defence still at Eglise, but they could be redeploying near Maison, so they got to watch out there. What's up, Badger? I didn't see that you messaging the chat. It's my one monitor live at the moment. But yeah, you just play, mate, and I'll jump on with you when I'm done. Squad line battle is underway here. And it's nice to see we're at 59 minutes. It hasn't ended in half an hour. We've seen some decent defences from both teams. And this is a much, much better game than what I've seen recently the last few weeks in squad line battle. All these players, of course, and as always, like, all the players are good. They know how to play the game. And so when they're trying to play to win, not just to attack, I guess, they all are very, very capable and we'll get a good game out of it and a real good show. That's what we're seeing now tonight. We've got the guys from CC, Don D, pushing this church relentlessly, but they can't get the German squad out of here. Kato's done a great job. I thought we'd see him attacking. I did wonder if, when I saw him near the RT earlier, if he'd changed position, but Kato from PBS and his squad doing a great job taking the church here with an hour remaining. Samurai Eglise capped. Already they've got a recon squad in Star Crusader over here at Maison du Creek. This is where I'm hoping that now in turn the Allies have done a good job of keeping those back garrisons up. I see Flood below us is moving into the ditch. Whether that means that they have their garrison back here, I'm not going to pin it. Yes, it does exactly mean that they have their garrison back here. So let's just kind of find it so we can actually get an idea on the map of exactly where we are. So just over here in H8, I can't see exactly, there it is. Just over here in H8 is where they're spawning in now. And they've only got a couple of players, as I said, the Germans, actually at the point here at Maison du Creek. But it's vital that the garrison game is good here for the Allies, because the Germans are trying to get, as you can see, get another garrison up over here. Unless, oh no, that's the Allies. That's the Allies airhead. So that's a defensive airhead that we're seeing there from the Allies. Spearhead, Alfie, cannon fodder, all moving up to protect it. Scotland going down in the road, so they'll be spawning in there now, the Allies. And it's unfortunate they've had to use their airhead in that capacity. For them, it would obviously be better to get or have garrisons up. They might have been taken out already by recon. You have always got to worry about recons taking out your garrisons or tanks driving around. We saw the Greyhound driving around earlier, so recon tanks are also really annoying for just taking out your garrisons, because they can just zip over to where they think they might be and drive around a bit, and surely enough there it is, and they just blow it up and they're out. So no chance to even defend it. Samurai Eglise getting capped back in the counter attack, and a good job of defending as well after a bit of a worrying moment there. Not so many Germans able to commit to the attack. They still do have this garrison, but they're being quite disciplined. They're not spawning on it yet. Dog Squad, which is a recon, a House Squad, which is a recon, they're both moving towards Maison du Creek. I'm not sure they're trying to fully cap it at the moment. They're just probably trying to push the Allies back, get them off the point so they can consolidate here at Samurai Eglise. And they are managing to do that. They're taking it back now. Still Allies below us in the building, so this is the north. That's Hospice over there. You can actually see at the bottom of the screen, look. So Allies in the gardens to the north. Spawning in over there in the back gardens, and over here as well in this back garden. The Germans having to play quite wide again. They've unfortunately lost the church now. CC and this whole squad and this Hell Let Loose Poland squad have actually moved into the church now. They were pushing it earlier, but they kind of moved in. Meshek gets killed, but Shogun revenges him, or avenges him. Zerkal now pushed off the church and moving to secure this building. I guess they've got some spawn here. It looks like a garrison in the back garden there for the Allies. So this is big plays from Zerkal and his squad. He could get shot right now though. Oh, that's close. Zand saw him obviously. I think he might have been... Oh my... How is he alive? Insane. Is he just trying to get the marker? I guess FLK knows it's coming as well. Or like knows roughly where it is, where they're coming from. Can't get my words out today. It's this high pace streaming schedule. Samurai Eglise contested. Roy and Q move into the church after getting a nice satchel down. I think it was their satchel, could have been a German satchel. Need a replay function. But Roy goes down and Q as well, so nicely done here from the Germans to secure the church again. They've got some people pushing across the open area there, but should be no problem for them because it is just a barren no man's land. FLK getting a kill out the back where this garrison is. If Kappa and Sonny can move up as well, they might be able to get this down whilst these allies push up. Another spawn wave in now though, and it's going to be hot below us. This garrison's definitely going to be hot. Limber goes down. Myth can hear Kappa's gun. It goes down to FLK. Nice shots there through the window. Both of these now moving on to the garrison. Meshek unable to get through the building in time. Doesn't protect the Gary. Don't know who he was shooting at there. Meshek and Kappa. The bulletproof little wooden walls that, or little fences that abound apparently in Normandy. Very high quality building materials. It's kind of weird, look, that you've got the the Allies almost on the left hand side of the road, which is obviously like not their territory, and then the Germans on the right hand side. Very kind of, I don't know, flanked all around, aren't they, the Allies, but not being able to take back the point yet here at Samurai Eglise. Obviously got quite a few spawns over near Cemetery, that's just an OP there, but there's more back here. Don't see any of these Germans anywhere around there. They haven't got anything kind of set up over there either. Down at Maison de Creek, as you can see on the map, nobody even attacking that area at the moment. They've got the garrison up here. They've got another one up in this area where SRTT is. As you can see, this kind of shape where we're looking this way. You can see the wall here. And near that truck, or near where Peak is, I guess, that's where the garrison's going to be. But look how flanked around the Allies are too. That's the garrison in the corner of the field there. So we might see that go down very shortly. They've got another one up at Hospice in like E4, 3E4. And this one below as well to the southeast. F6. The recon plane identifying quite a few enemies. Probably not their main contingent. It's really showed up these ones that we can see below us on Love infantry marker. Whereas there's kind of more here. The bombing run might get a few of them, but they're quite well concealed by some of these buildings. They've taken the church again though, the Allies, so it's definitely very contested still here at Samurai Eglise Church. Here comes a bombing run. Ghost is safe. Chris goes down though. Cannon fodder might be safe. And it's a 1-kill bombing run, 2-kill bombing run there. Unable to get out of the way in time. Probably thought there weren't going to be that many bombs. Sometimes it seems like it goes on forever when you're standing there on the ground. That thing's going over your head. But they've pushed up well through the cemetery here, the Allies. They have managed to get round to their own side again. they've also taken the church as they've kind of fallen back from that Western approach push. With the CC squad camping it now. Havoc might be trying to get a satchel down. Doesn't look like it. So I'm getting like screen tearing. Let me know in the chat if there's any problems with the stream. What's the new rule, Crony? Oh right, if there's a second game. Yeah, I don't think I see what you're saying about the solution. I kind of I disagree with it a little bit. I think that it shouldn't be a reset. Unless it's literally within like 5 minutes or so, you know, it's like a 12-minute game or something. But even then, I kind of feel like people should just play well. You know, what competitive game do you know that has been a steamroll to that level? Like where the teams are, don't forget, these teams are like relatively evenly balanced nowadays in squadline battle. It's not like one is like really stacked with core players or anything like that. Okay, we saw Thorpe earlier, but there's other good players up against him, and you know, just one guy. It's possible to defend against 1 or 2 or 3 really good players. You know, yes, they're important, but when it comes to like getting back and stuff, all these players know what they're doing, and you don't see those comp games where they're evenly balanced teams ending in half an hour. Hardly ever. And if you do, it's only like a mistake. I'm thinking in the seasonal just a few weeks ago, or a couple of months ago now probably. It's been going on for quite some time, but there was a game between Blacklist and Finns Let Loose. The Finns came out like allegedly hungover, and they got really overly aggressive. Like they got capped and then capped on again, and then they got overly aggressive with like the counter attack instead of consolidating at their last point, and they got 5-0 because they were kind of too aggressive. But that's literally like an unforced error. And so the reason why these games would be ending too quickly is through unforced error. So that can be changed by the players. It's just a mentality thing, and I think that, as I said at the start of this stream, these two commanders today, because they kind of agreed ahead of time to actually be playing the game, that's a big part of it. They're not just having to fill in at the last minute. They are able to put some kind of dedication into actually thinking about you know, what they want out of the game. But it's more than the commanders, and I've said that the whole time. It's the squads, and if they want to redeploy, and it comes down to sometimes the communities, because if the communities are blocking off the squads and booking out the squads in the game without having, you know, a firm roster in place, knowing for sure who's going to play, as it were, then those people going in the squads can just be there last minute, and they might not really be like super keen to play squad line battle. Maybe they just think, oh yeah, I'll do it because somebody mentioned it and nobody else is in the squad, and so then you end up with somebody playing who's not really down to communicate necessarily, or just kind of playing like in a really casual way, and you don't get quality gameplay and a quality match out of it. You don't get somebody who's responsive and going back and redeploying when they need to, etc. So I think the answer comes down to the mentality of the people playing. Do people want to play squad line battle to like steamroll people who aren't trying to defend, or get steamrolled when they're just relentlessly trying to attack, and I just don't care if I win or lose, I'll just like get kills and like it's freaking team deathmatch on COD? Or is it people, as the format in my mind deserves, is it people who know how to play the game, playing the game like with their brains, you know? Stuart wrecking that Tiger now. I don't know who the Tiger was firing at, but I think he picked wrong. We saw earlier the half track picked as the correct target for the Stuart before, and yes, this Tiger picking the wrong target there. But Kato again leading from the front here. Kugu below us with Scotland, Nitroglycerina, Miracle, Rixland, Kaminsani, OTST. All of these guys. I know that's not how you say it. Ostus. However you say it. Scotland going for the satchel. Very nice little satchel here. Ernest, Curti and XDL in the tank get the kill on Scotland, but will they be able to get out in time to desatchel themselves? Unlikely. They're moving out of the point as well. Could have been a sort of secret strat there to pull the tank right up to the side of the building and take out the enemies with you. Ernest's running for the satchel here though. He's going to struggle. Takes quite a long time to disarm these satchels. He might make it. It's going to be tight. No! Oh my god! Oh my god. So yeah, the satchel takes out the 76 there, which is huge for the Axis. They've got spawns close to the point here. 43 minutes remaining in the game. The last game between these two commanders went about 45 minutes. So a slightly longer one today, harder fought than last time out on Hill 400. They're not capping it anymore. The Allies have got good spawns in here to the south. What plane is this coming over? Supplies? That might be these German supplies falling back here. I think it is. Yeah, my game's struggling today, huh? Like very jerky. I'm back on the main PC though, so I'm not sure why. Maybe it's because I've got this filter on. Do you ever use these NVIDIA filters? Maybe I could turn it off. Don't know. Make any difference. Just doesn't look quite as smooth. Maison de Crique defended here though by the Allies. Again, you know, when people are trying, that was a decent attempt at an attack there from those attacking squads. It wasn't just recons. They had a tank there too that got taken out. Nice satchel play. Real close with the disarmament as well of the satchel, but then good spawns and a good push from the Allies to defend. That's what makes the game last longer. You know, that's the answer to the woes of having quick games. It's people playing in the way that they already know how to play. You know, most of these players here have at some stage played at the highest level of competitive, so they all know what they're doing. They just have to want the game to last. Not in a way of like, you know, they're taking it easy, in the complete opposite way where they're doing everything that they know they're supposed to do to actually defend and therefore win, because defense in this game is so vitally important. You basically just need to have a defense and then you can mount attacks off of the back of your defense. Your defense is what lasts and holds you the point, which holds you the victory. The attack is kind of speculative and they often fail. Even the best attackers in the game will often fail on an attack, and you just have to accept that attacks are going to fail sometimes and not go all in and leave nobody in defense. And then if you have ever gone all in because you thought, well, this is literally it, like we have to go all in, absolutely all or nothing, and then it's not working, sometimes you just have to give up. And whether that's individuals or squads or the commander telling squads to get back, but people need to then just get back at some point. As we see here, Samer Eglise getting capped now by the Allies, so this is like the natural flow of a battle, and where you have to be careful and attentive, because where we just seen the cap attempt over there at Maison de Crique, that's now got defended, and the temptation is for the Germans to continue to push, but in that time that they would have been dedicating more people over in that area, that's given time and space in other areas for enemies to move up on their own attack, start their own push. And that's just what we see here, with the Allies moving now into the back of the village at Eglise, to the back of the church, using that building cover, or the buildings as that cover that they have, that good angle of approach from the north there. But the Germans coming back in defence with Sinzarkal both on attack and defence, so I guess they're running a fairly flexible system here, the Germans. Not an ideal route of approach here for the Germans. They really want one of these players to have a satchel with them when they get to the building, but Zarkal does not as a squad leader. Going to try and place an OP like a crazy person maybe. Gets the kill to the pre-fire from Iggy. Whoever else that was out in the courtyard went down too, and they're starting to cap again. It's contested though. Down at Maison there is still a bit of an attack going. A nice wide front line here from the Germans. They haven't got kind of holes and pockets, people just in small areas. They've kind of kept the width. Kappa and FLK bringing up the rear as well with the recon unit. But the attack pretty much fully over at Maison de Cric. Nazbrock below us, the commander. Speak to him later, see what kind of strategy they're running in terms of, you know, if they got fixed defense squads, people who are dedicated to defense, or are they chopping and changing and being more flexible. What's the strategy after last time? Nazbrock lost last time as the Germans on Hill 400. Really just struggled, got pushed back early to their last point, and then overzealous again with the attack up the hill and just running out of the sector, and people spawn behind, and so difficult on Hill 400 at those base spawns because people can literally just spawn behind. I don't know if Zune actually wants to join my unit. I think we'll go with no. See if he reapplies. It might just be an accident. There's a problem. See any chat. He's trying to get my attention. This building just here in G4 that you can see on Love's attack marker below us. The garrison in the back garden here, this is the Allied garrison. It's a very common place to put a spawn, but in my opinion it's kind of it's not that ideal, especially if the point is hospice. This side where it's the church, it's better because you have the opportunity to cross the road anywhere along here. You can, okay, you have to cross the road, and you do have that exposed route across the road, but you also have some cover with the wheat field. So not so bad from this direction, but when it comes to attacking hospice, loads and loads of people put the garrison here, and I really think that it's actually not great. It just happens to be this area here. It's far enough away from hospice, and even Eglise as well, that it's tempting to put your garrison there, your red line garrison, because I think it won't get capped. Off track here, right next to the church. That's one way to do it. But it's just a deceptive thing, in my opinion. It's very unlikely that you're ever going to take hospice in particular just by having players in the sector. They need to be in the hard cap, because if your guys aren't in the hard cap, that means that's where the enemies are more than likely, and they will have capture power over you. And so even having a whole team over here in F4 isn't necessarily that helpful. But it seems to be doing the trick for the Allies here. It's their kind of backup garrison, giving them that covered approach once they get into the buildings. They've still got people spawning over by cemetery, which would be my preferred angle. 76 pulling up as well. This is looking like a promising attack here from them. The Germans have the garrison down below us to the right, and a couple of OPs with Jig, and Love's got one over the other side there by Carbon X. Revan out in the road there. But nobody really that close to the church. They've got this spawn with the half track. Whether they can get people in on it, that's a different story. It's being covered now by the 76. Only 2 people spawning there. Michael Jordan. Okay. Jordan's inside. Is he going to get a satchel down? There's 2 engineers inside the church here for the Germans. Surely one of them has a satchel loadout. Vince looking to run up the stairs, maybe. Questionable. Coming into close quarters combat here. Limber goes down though. Clearing it out by hand the old-fashioned way. Only 1 player left. Cannon fodder up here. Cannon fodder might get taken out. He does get taken out up there in the tower, and that's all the allies out of the church again. Rockets out, but they're just going to be able to run in the back door. .76 firing off now. They're back inside. Bombing run's coming. This is the German bombing run landing behind us. Not in the right spot. They're over halfway capped here. Sleeping on the church a little bit here, the Germans, with the half track down. No spawns near. They've got the reinforce up, but it's not enough at the moment. Oh, and they have started to cap it back now, the Germans. Just as another lot of allies spawn in and run up to the back of the church. There's a whole lot more here, look. With only Revan facing off against them. He goes down to a satchel. Looking very promising here for the allies, and not just that, but they've got worse guitarists back here in Western approach. No garrison in Western. No half track like we saw them use before. Glann and some other players here have decided to fall back a little bit, but you can see just how far that garrison is away from Western approach. If they lose it here, then worse can probably get the garrison up there. Certainly get an OP. Say that he can't get a garrison. He's the recon squad leader, so he can't get anybody to spawn in on him with supplies. There might be supplies there already that we can't see because we don't see their map, but Western approach is now contested. Worst guitarist. The soft cap on Western approach as Eglise is lost by that nicely coordinated allied push. 31 minutes left in the game. And it's been a much more interesting game, in my opinion, we've had for quite a long time here on Squad Line Battle. We've seen some nice plays from both sides. Maison de Crick almost falling before, and now Western. There was a nice push earlier from the Allies on Western 2, and it looked like that was quite heavily fought over. The Germans doing well to get back. We've seen bombing runs, we've seen artillery, we've seen defensive airhead. Seen some nice half-track plays. The Germans getting back well. This is exactly what we were talking about before. They all know what to do. They've fallen back immediately. Pushed into that critical area, not allowing the Allies to push up too far. Yes, they've got worse guitarists inside the point, but it's only a soft cap with 1 guy in there. They know that straight away because they can contest so easily. Once they're standing inside the hard point as well, they'll see on their heads-up display that there's chevrons demarking how much capping power they have on the point, and they'll say that see that they have 3 to 1 and know that there's hardly anybody there. They just need to get into the right areas in these buildings. They've kept a bit narrow and actually allowing the Allies to run through here, but this is kind of more of a you know, a genuine error than one of not being bothered to get back. because we've seen they've certainly tried to get back here, but they've kind of pushed out too quickly, thinking that it was easy to contest, so there must hardly be anyone there, and only Carbon is actually still here below us in the buildings, but he's down to Worst Guitarist, who's still up here at Western Approach, and joined now by Odysseus, Iggy and Wombo. Then him Chicken falling back, it seems like. Revan's realised what's going on here. Is that the garrison over there? But I just see them both spawn in, or maybe they just both came within range. No, there are supplies. Where is it? Can it be here? Yeah, it's like right on the edge of the... Oh, that's friendly supplies. Interesting. Thought I saw them spawn in, but maybe they just ran into the range of my... No, they couldn't have done, because I can see people all the way over there. Who knows, but here comes the bombing run for the Allies, used in defence to try and clear out some Germans who they feel are pushing them quite hard from the front. They've got this tank support from the Tiger, which is nice to see. Got some infantry around as well to help protect it. And that's freeing up space for the flank round here to the north of the church. They've finally taken these buildings now, though, the Allies. And they can be very, very difficult to root out of there. Again, they've got spawns over in F6. And moving nicely out on that north side of the road. And having to really all come back now, the Axis. And this is a great test, because it's one thing when you lose the point to redeploy, but do you redeploy now? Maybe. If someone says so, but voluntarily? Who's coordinating that stuff? These are the things that make the game last longer. Denim Chicken, Iggy. Chris moving down that ditch area. I'm not sure they know what they're about to come up against, because quite a few Germans have come back. Fully defended again here, but Denim Chicken giving away his position. Doesn't get the kill on R2. Iggy's dead to Hazer in the ditch. Chris is further down and kills Hazer. Overblaze out in the field here. Goes down. Mr. Pepple. First airborne below us. Surely he must have heard where Chris is. He's looking the wrong way. He's got his headphones on back to front. Going for the rocket play. But dies somewhat needlessly to the Thompson through the bush. Literally just speculative fire there from Chris, I think. Let's go back over to Samar Eglise if my computer can cope with that. Still got this nice flank going on up from the north there, the Germans. A couple of them dead to Matavartar at the top of the screen. Bubble going to be flanking him though in a second. Looks like Thorpe and Helga etc. are coming back to the left of the road. Decided to defend instead of push with these lot on the attack. 76 is moving below us as well. Cato again leading the charge. Gets inside the church and they are capping here at Samar Eglise. The Germans have successfully made it to the church with that flank, but this time they need to avoid getting satcheled, I guess. You can see that building behind with Carlisle. Oh, that's not how you say your name. I'm so sorry, Carls. Very hard to root out of that building, but if Miracle and especially Kavin can get up into that building, then with the machine gun they can actually get shots on Nazbrock and Warhamster, who are going to be pushing the church from this side. They're defending here, the Allies, but again, I've got the machine gun up there, you can see. Use the smokes. Nazbrock can't put anything down in terms of a satchel, so It's going for the clearing it out the old-fashioned way like we saw before. Spearhead and Riscasso crossing the road from the north. 24 minutes left in the game. The Germans are going to want to flip this point soon. The reason why I say that is because just now the Allies still have enough time in the game that they're still thinking about that 4-1, that 5-1, as you can see with the 76 here, which is actually reducing the number of people on defence, of course. If it's in the last 8, 9, 5 minutes of the game, then oftentimes teams who are playing to win and know what they're doing will send their squads back to the defensive point right at the end, because they'll think, well, let's just play for the win and send everybody back to defend what we have got, you know, keep that point in the bank. But right now they've got quite a few players pushed up, so it could leave an opportunity for the Germans to get into Samer Eglise, but they've got cleared out the church again. It's not looking good for them unless they can take out some of these spawns up here to the north towards Hospice, as we can see that big building on the left hand side. Then I think they're really going to struggle. And they're still getting pushed along these buildings and down the ditch as well. So the defenders not being able to clear out the OP or whatever they're spawning in at down there. Instead seeing them a lot of the times just run straight up the road. Sort of clear out this narrow side on the right hand side here, but leave the left, and unfortunately it's costing them a little bit because they're having to expend quite a few people here on the defence when they could be assisting with that flank round the back, especially if Fox was able to get up a garrison. It would be proxied right now, but only just. Well, there's probably somebody around his OP too, but it's always a good spot to try and get a garrison up around those buildings. In fact, the enemy probably have a garrison around there too, I should think. Kavin manages to get the kill and defend this building, but Thorpe's here now. Never what you want. Shoots him literally through the ground there somehow. Fair play, Kavin. Fair play. But dies in the window. Somewhat unsuccessful bombing run here for the Germans. Not really backed up that well, either with the recon or with players to push it. A little bit wasted there perhaps. Tiger now assisting on the defence, and they have managed to get some width here, and they have managed to clean some people out. Wombo going down too. If they can kill Critical Fail, take out his OP, and this will be the area secured for the Germans. That'll actually allow them to do a proper effort on the attack. Snip is back here being annoying. Surprised to see that they haven't left a squad leader back inside the point here, just in case, considering what's happened before here at Western Approach. But worst guitarist, who was the culprit last time, is miles away at the moment, and so not doing too much damage right now. Kevin fires about 1,000 bullets, but gets the kill, allowing the Germans to move onto this right hand side as we're looking at it, so the south of the road. But as we said before, it's these areas up here with the Allies are spawning in that are really causing a lot of problems. Not sure where their garrison is around here, but it's going to be around here somewhere. Might be back in these back gardens again. Can't find it. Thought it was just below us. Yeah, here it is. Oh no, it's not. That's a wheelbarrow. Show me your garrison. Cheeky little OP there. It's Golf OP in F4. Yeah, they've marked the garrison. Maybe they took it down. So that's good plays from them. And Kato, Mr. Pepple moving up to try and get the line pushed right to the road. That's really important for the Germans here. Fortunately for them, they've kind of lost out on this flank now that they had before. But if they can get this front line pushed up, then Kappa over here could certainly be causing some damage. Kappa's a little bit too deep. You see that G is a sector too deep for building a garrison, but there are 100 supplies here, which is the required amount for a red zone garrison, so they can get over there and build that. That could be a boon for the Germans. Our squad, Star Crusader, excuse me, next to the airhead here. Probably going to try and get down the garrison there too somewhere. E3 looks like where they flanked in from, and you can see they're supported still by that Tiger tank that we saw before. That's just here, pushed up to the road. And with 18 minutes left in the clock, this is the time now for the Germans. This is that critical moment. The line's been breached a little bit here though by Matavatar and Logic. Or as well, moving below us. The Allies doing a nice job of consolidating this defence though. We saw them do a nice counter-attack to take Eglise. If you remember, they had their red dots all where we see the blue up on this far side of the road here, and they also encircled around from the cemetery and pinched it off from the north where we see the Tiger moving now in a very effective manoeuvre, whilst also defending at Maison de Krieg. We saw them all around the back there, you recall, and down here, down the gully, down through G8 and G7 into Maison. Crushing out the Germans with the pincer move here at the church, taking it back and now holding it well. Being able to close off the end of the line here for the Germans, which is what they need to do, wrap around the back basically and get shots on the back of the Germans, forcing their spawns back down through this sort of alley of buildings that we saw them fighting on before. They're holding them off well. This is just the soft cap over here at Western. It's only a couple of people around, worst guitarist. It's causing more problems again. But it's taking some of the Germans back to that area, and that's allowing again below us the Allies to cap off, as it were, to slip around the end of the line. I don't know if this tank satchel below us, it could have been. There were certainly players there with the potential to have satchel loadouts. This TCR player as well crossing the road might have a satchel. Winters, Vince, Sardikar below us, getting a bit shot to bits on their OP, and yes, there was a satchel on there. The Tiger goes down. This line is well and truly crushed here by the Allies, and doing well to push through the Germans, force them all the way back here to Western approach. Pushing that north side of the road again. You can see Critical already moving towards the ditch, although he goes down. Lots of Germans out here though, to the south of Eglise, and that's not necessarily a bad place for them to be if they can move up into this area, take down the garrison, which is here where Nazbrock just spawned. Cavan saw it, and surely saw it. Can hear Roy running around. Gets the kill. Can he hear TN6? The grenades come over, but it's not going to be enough. Oh my god, it is going to be enough. How on earth did that hit him? It looked like it flew miles away. This is where we hope they marked it. Cuz knows where it is and is on the garrison. If they can get their own garrison up here, this could be big for the Germans. They are successfully defending over at Western for now. They're getting pushed back through these buildings, but it is a difficult push for the Allies. They've got a lot of corners to pie off to get through that whole area. Still got a nice defensive spawn there though, the Allies back at the cemetery, and still leaving people at the church, and this is the difference, I think. And we'll talk to them in the chat, but it seems like Nazbrock has consistently left a squad on permanent defense inside the hard point practically. Has left squads back at back Gary's. On the other hand, it seems like Glann maybe has worked out some sort of rolling system with the team where different people were defending at different times and being kind of responsive and getting back, but because they're not there waiting, they don't know how many people are there, and so sometimes it's one person and 15 people go back, and that's kind of an overreaction, and then other times maybe you know, one or two people go back and actually there's quite a few and a tank in the point or whatever, so that could be a slight difference here between the teams. But 12 minutes left, and this is lovely to see, I have to say, from Squad Line Battle. A hard fought game that's actually going on for the full amount of time. I don't know who that was, just flew through the air there, but they got absolutely destroyed by that tank. And the 76 pushing the road. They're still going for the big win here. They're not just accepting what they have and turtling. Nazbrock pushing the troops up here. But the 76, are they a bit isolated right now? Art exposing himself to the machine guns. They know he's here now. It's turned. If he's got the satchel, he could get him now. Although it's hard to... You have to be standing basically still for several seconds to get that satchel down. Good spot for the 76 in a way. Even better now to get out in the field here. That's considering they've got no infantry support with them, being out in the field is quite a good idea because they can't be rushed by satchellers too easily. I saw the half tractors back there, but they don't really have too much competition in the tank. Zun, Oleski and Barho up here, but this tank is marked now. Love have placed a marker, so this tank could be turning around from D3. Let's go catch up with them. Here they are. No, they get shot by the 76, in fact. Slightly distracting the 76 from helping the push at Western, but not for long. And doing a good job through this lane here and clearing out these corners that we talked about before. They took out the garrison here, the Germans, but they're still getting pushed back through from the area. They're not being able to set up their own thing. Dropping supplies up by Golf Squad. That's Zarkal, who we saw playing well earlier, up here in F4 at those buildings we discussed earlier. I think Caro's going to maybe see them, but it would be good if they can get a spawn there. Majek over there running back to the point where they're falling, so may well be able to see those coming down at the buildings, and nobody there to build it just yet. Golf Squad getting a little bit caught up here in the buildings. I think the Allies doing a good job with 10 minutes to go. I don't see a meaningful attack developing right now for the Germans, and in fact it's more the other way, with Western approach getting pushed well. The 76 on love marker down to the left of the screen, helping the Allies to put decent pressure here on Western. I don't see them capping it in the next couple of minutes, but they are doing a good job here. Killed the half track there. Are doing a good job here of keeping pressure up, and that's stopping, among other things, stopping the Germans from being able to attack here. Still got those supplies that we just saw. Whoever that was running for them didn't die yet. It was Magic. But he's taken the supplies, and Glann, who was running towards that drop, is now stuck out in the field. Nowhere to go. No supplies to reach. Does he have another plan? With 8 minutes left, realistically 6. Well, it's 9 minutes, so realistically 7 for all my technically accurate people out there. In warfare mode, which is what we're watching right now, teams can't win. They don't have enough time to win if they don't activate the capturing procedure or process, if they don't begin that with over 2 minutes remaining, because it takes 2 minutes to cap the point. So if they start with 1:59 on the clock, even if they continue to cap, doesn't matter how many people they have in the point, it never gets any faster or slower, and so they literally can't cap. So the last 2 minutes is that critical point, and we've got 6 minutes until then. It's contested back at Western Approach. More allies moving to the left. Saint-Mère Eglise Church well and truly held. As we can see, Nazbrock himself standing by the church there with a full squad, still in defence, nobody pushing them, but just waiting there, sitting on it, keeping that one in the bank. Thorpe out here, fighting off the really most promising attack that the Germans had. Some more supplies dropping on the commander, and he does get a garrison up. Are they going to kind of go all in here? They might have to soon. Haven't got long left in the game, but they are getting pushed at Western. Where's that tank? Still there. Those marks are not accurate any longer. This Tiger's moving up, but he's going to need some accurate markers. The tank is still up. Mr. Pepper with a nice hit there might distract this tank and get it to turn. Fox and Love marker are up to date. Mike and Abel less so. Can Zune see from here? Nice kill from Mr. Pepple, that's huge. Helping massively on the defence there. Meshek pushing up into the centre of Western, but they do have this garrison down, even though it's proxied now. Jack and Helga doing a good job of getting up here and actually taking it down, and I think that was the last best chance, best hope here for the Germans. I don't see what else they're going to be able to do at this point. 6 minutes left in the game. The airhead is the only thing, but I don't know if they've got the resources for it. Not a good spawn situation here either. You can see that they're having to run across this field. There is this one back here. I'm not sure why they're not spawning on it. Maybe it's camped. But it seems like only Meshek would have a sight line over it. So many planes. God. Seeing the bombing run here on the attack for the Allies. It's not actually killing anybody though. Kind of took me by surprise being in that area. Decent amount of players now at Western Approach to defend, and they've defended again well here, albeit slightly slow, but they haven't quite got the players up here to make this attack work. Has Scotland got the satchel? There's still... Well, there's only one player now inside the church, but they have to get spawns going on here. They've got the transport truck pushed up, but it's not... Hello. But it's not a half track or something like that, so they don't have a spawn here. Certainly not for a mass redeploy. Nobody able to get an OP up. Sort of a bit hesitant with the OPs. They've got the airhead over here, but it's quite far away. Nazbrock and these other lot coming back in defence already. being very responsive. They don't want to lose at this point, and their allies have this in the bag if they just keep playing like this. The Germans able to fight off that cap that's happening on Western approach right now, but that's all they're being able to do. Not able to capitalise on the attack here, excuse me. So Western defended. They fought off those battle lanes. They killed the 76, but the Germans really struggling here. As you can see, that airhead attack from the north, top of the screen, those blue dots, that's their bombing run. Not taking out too many of these allies in red, maybe just a couple. And it's tight here. They got 1:25 for all those blue players to come down that road and get to the church, clear it out, and hopefully get another garrison as well. Star Crusader down on his OP over here to the right of the screen as we're looking at the church. Just to the southeast here. And that's unfortunate. They want to be getting any kind of spawns destroyed over here so that when they do get to the church, if they do get to the church, although they've only got 55 seconds left to do that, they can't have people be spawning over here and rushing them in the church and providing cap power in the sector. They need them gone. Not able to do that. Not able to actually make it to the church here. 40 seconds remaining. Boy next door, the only person here, the rifleman, dies prophetically at the doorway. I don't think it's going to happen here for the Germans on this one. Played well though here, both teams, compared with what we've seen of recent months. Very good to see. A hard fought game the whole time. Very dramatic. Lots of action. Lots of cap races. Lots of satchels, tank plays. Not so much on the artillery. That might just be me failing to cover it, because I'm trying to keep up with all this other action. But the Allies here doing a cracking job of defending and attacking. But I think just a slightly different defensive doctrine here, going for that safe play. And they do, as I said before, have the map advantage at Eglise Church with the covered approaches, and just sitting on that advantage, making it count. That's what gets you the win here. And it's not like they haven't been trying for the 4-1, but they've done a good job in defence here, the Germans, at Western. And when we were talking about these points before the game, we said that if it's Eglise Church, then the defence into Western is not too bad, because it forces the enemies down this lane. You just have to be able to kill them in those buildings there on the approach to Western approach, and they have done that. They're coming now with the flank as well in the last minute, the Allies, so fair play to them for pushing this whole time. Fair play to the Germans for defending well, and they're a bit unfortunate with losing the point after they recapped it, but lovely to see. A nice to and fro game here. Very well done to all the players. The best game of squad line battle that I've seen in a good while. Thank you so much for watching. I know we've had a few people in the chat. Obviously, I apologise that it's 15 minutes delay, so I can't really kind of interact too much with all the people in the chat, but that's nice to see there from the commander. You can see squad line battle. As it should be, so really nice to see. And the defeat there for the Germans today, but a well-deserved victory for the Allies. Let's have a little scroll through the teams. We can see some of these scores very impressive. Attacking, very attacking squad here from Lost Squad. Lots and lots of high kill squads here. Good defensive points here. Good attacking and defensive points for all the squads. Slightly more on the attacking side here, I feel like. The Germans maybe. once we get through this, awarding me my pitiful amount of XP. Doesn't mean anything at this point. We'll have a little look on the other side. Yeah, so good defensive squad here from Revan. We saw come back like very effectively quite a few times, but very, very high defensive scores, as you can see here. 6,000 points there, 4,000, 4,000, 7,000, nearly 8,000 points. Very, very defensive squads here. Lovely plays from the tank with nearly 4,000 combat effectiveness. Few combat squads over 1,000, nearly at 2,000 here. Very, very, very impressive stuff there from the teams with that play. Make sure you pause to see your score. I know people are leaving now, but on the VOD you can just pause to see your score. So make sure to do that to check it out. We'll go and get into the Discord now. Hopefully we can speak to both the commanders. Let me make sure that we've got... Okay, so yeah, after the technical issues at the end of the stream on server 2, squad line battle, we have Glann and Nazbrock back in the chat. You can actually hear what they're saying this time. Start off, I suppose, with congratulations again. I feel like I've congratulated you like a bunch at this point, Nazbrock, because we've obviously spoken before, but well played to you and to the rest of the allies. Obviously also well played to the Germans and to yourself, Glenn. Commiserations. We spoke before about defense. I think defense was something that was like the focus of not just the game, but of kind of the ethos of squad line battle tonight. Obviously, there's kind of been a push from both of you guys ahead of the game to and in your kind of briefings to make sure that people are kind of playing the way they know how and being responsive and being defensive. But also during the game today, there was great defense from both teams, but in the end, it was probably the defense of the allies that won it. Nazbrock, what worked well for you guys in defense today?
So for the defense for St. Mary Eglise, we had just pinpoint some key factors, some key sectors, and some key sectors were attributed to one particular squad. We got 7 infantry, and 7 infantry got 1 horse. I think there is 2 for the defense, and just 1 on hardpoint and 1 into control to counterflank the main trait of the Axis team. So basically, we just make before the game a few seconds a meeting with all the squad to manage how the team strategy will be on this game. I'm just looking some teams and say who wants to go to the front line, where is the main difficult key sectors that we can encounter into the game, and there will be 10 minutes to build the squad and to define key sectors, but also term of communication, because we know that in squad lab battle, defense on hard point or strong point will be very kinky, and there is a lot of math that you have to done when you are the main defense squad on the hard point, because you have to just to calculate if you push to eliminate the Axis force into the 4 squared, or to stay on the strong point to count as 3 value. So there is a game plan. My heart just on a roller coaster, because there is a lot of opposition, and sometimes we need to build a garrison as many as possible and fast as possible, and we have just good opposition on this game.
Yeah, I mean, you said there obviously about having your heart in your mouth. It wasn't, you know, you guys won today, but it wasn't because the Germans didn't try and win. the center point was like flip flopped twice, and then pushes both on the Allies' second point and on Western approach, the Germans. Glenn, how do you feel about the way that you guys played tonight?
Yeah, so just to get back to your previous question on the defense, and indeed, the ethos was really, in a more general sense, assigning squads to clear obligations. Because the last couple of weeks, it really has been a mess. A lot of squads don't know what to do, or they just go off on their own. Actually, looking back in the channel of the Squad Line Battle, the last strat sketch that has been done is 3 months ago in February. Ever since, it's always been a bit messy. We don't get commanders. So really, as Nazbrock already pointed out, just did a strat sketch with some general pointers on where people should be, how we're doing the start, and actually everything went smoothly. For my defensive strategy, I had 3 squads assigned on defense, and I must say, I assigned squads without knowing them by heart or knowing their playstyle, and they all followed exactly what I told them to do, which of course made me very happy in a sense that there was no opposition to me suggesting and me trying to set up a better game format. And yeah, we had 3 defensive squads. They did an excellent job. The two defensive squads, one in the north, one in the south. As we mentioned in our previous interview, I'll quickly bring that up again. We kind of tried to have an aerial control, where Nazbrock really tried to have a bit better control of the hard cap, as you mentioned earlier. We had one defensive squad that was kind of switching between offense and defense, and yeah, the only really thing that went maybe a bit wrong, but that was actually formatted in that way, is that sometimes we spawned back with too many and over-responded. However, that was also one of my clear key points and rules this match. I rather overreact and not get rolled and recover than having a game being 30 minutes again. We really tried to make this game a pleasurable experience for everyone, for all the squads, so that they could finally use this as a platform again to train. And also, it was extremely informative for myself. I'm a member of Dundee, also the hosts of the second server, so shout out to them. And I learned a lot today. And again, I've said it many times in the previous interview as well. The spotters or the recon squad from Nazbrock, they were doing an excellent job pushing me continuously on my back line and taking my garrison down. So I was primarily building garrisons and taking out those half tracks, which quite often you seem to be missing, especially in the friendly / competitive scene. It's definitely a vital point. So yeah, well, we did an excellent job. We captured the center point, and then I think we held on to it for about 10 minutes, and we had a chance to push through. And that was completely my mistake. Nazbrock had to drop a airhead for the defensive on I forgot the name of the hard cap, but the previous attacking point, and I think we lost it on that one. But they managed to recap it by continuously pressuring the church, and we just didn't have enough people on the strong cap as per strategy. So yeah, that's a bit of a rundown of the game. Again, completely a shout out to everyone for listening as well as they did. Still much to learn for myself, but it was an excellent game that lasted 90 minutes, exactly what we planned for and what we wanted to achieve today.
Yeah, I mean, both of your teams, you said a lot there, but like both teams, they're really they tried hard today to not just to win kind of thing, and not just to push through, but they did try, right until the end. I think, the Allies were flanking right around trying to get that 4-1. They played for the win, but because they were both playing well and like to their experience of how to actually play the game, I think in our previous interview, you said, Glenn, about how the players out there are good players, and it just takes a little bit of, accepting that it's not a casual match, and trying hard, and it turns into like a real war out there. And it is fun, but it's also kind of a serious gaming experience. Like it's not easy kind of thing, and it's not something that you're just gonna brush off. It's something special to be looked forward to. So thank you both again, not just for playing the game, for the interview before, for this interview, but also for working together to kind of improve the standard here at Squad Line Battle, because it's really nice to see. And thanks to Don D, as you said, for providing the server. Thanks to the organisers as well. Before we kind of wrap it up, do you guys have any particular shout-outs by name for anyone that you played with?
You go first, please, Nazbrock.
Oh, you wanted to? Okay. No, but there was a great experience as a commander for the second time in a row for the Squad Lab battle. I keep some experience of the map of Sainte-Mère-l'Église because there is my church. There is keeping some pressure from the Axis team, and I'm just readapt all the squad. And tonight is a win for the entire squad of the Allied team because at some points we are just losing all garrison, losing the point of Sainte-Mère, Maison du Creek is near to be fallen, and I'm just okay. Just keep motivating the troop. Let's go, squad leaders. You can do the jobs. Nice communication between the squad and on the ground with the proximity communication channel to improve the game level of the Squad Lab battle. And as you mentioned, that Dundee on Allied team take care of the church and the experience to clean the church with some people inside. There is a mess to keep it for the whole entire game. And see if you wanna try to make some registration for the commander roles, because we need both server 1 and 2 need desperate commander for the Squad Lab battle. If you are experienced one, it could be to show your strategy, but if you are inexperienced, you can just give some advice by other commander. So just keep motivation to pick up the role of commander and to ask the community how to improve as this role.
All right, thanks, Nazbrock. Yeah, I also definitely have some shout outs, although please do keep in mind that I really want to thank the whole team. I think every squad has been communicating, have been keeping extremely clean communication. Actually, I was impressed. I think these communication were up to spec, or with what I would expect at a Dundee match with my own clan, people that know each other. It was really good on my end. But I really want to thank especially and actually give maybe a tip, the Hell That Loose Poland guys. They listened extremely well. They were on the defense, my south defense. A tip for them is they often stick as a squad, or they over-dedicate personnel onto one objective. I would really recommend that squad leader to try and delegate more of his squad to span a wider area. Sometimes there were 4 to 5 people dedicated to taking out or suppressing a recon. I want to thank the RHA, if I remember that tag correctly. I remember I sent him forward to offense one time, and I didn't see the situation on the ground exactly. He told me, I'm not going to do that because X and Y, because it is still too hot. And he gave me extremely detailed feedback on what was happening on the ground, and that's what I like to see. I think I don't know actually the name of the clan, but I know the tag, the First A, probably First Airborne.
Yep.
They were on the flexible defense and front line. Every time I asked them to do something, they replied with yes sir, and I saw them move directly to the markers I put down. Extremely excellent job. And the LS squads, both on recon, tank, and on the deep offense, they worked very well together. I think it was Dog Squad in the game. He set up, or House Squad, sorry, in the game. He set up so many garrisons. I dropped supplies. He would always try to build garrisons, and I tried that 4, 5 to 6 times. But I don't want to leave any other of the squads out. Everyone did an excellent job. Actually, one more shout out to Void Squad. They pushed, they were my northern defense, but they quite often took initiative to push into the red sector on the north, and they were quite often able to do that because it was a low pressure on defense, and they kept control. So they kind of shifted out of the role I assigned them to, but it worked out great because their insight was good and was on point. And yeah, what Nazbrock was saying, indeed, we really, really need commanders. We need commanders like me and Nazbrock to sit together, spend maybe an hour in preparation, make sure all the noses are pointing in the same direction, that we know what's going to happen. We're all on the same page. And we only did this for server 2 today. I heard the server 1 experience was once again a 5-0 or an 0-5. So really, guys, we need to make this a fun playground again for squads to train their squads, bring in the recruits, but also for the good players to come back. And there are already a lot of good players, but really the hardcore players that kind of left this genre, I really would like to see them return, because those are the ones that will make you up your game. And thanks so much for hosting, for streaming, and for commanding against me, Nazbrock.
Yeah, thanks to you, Glenn. That's
Wow.
the same point as Glenn mentioned. We need to have some squad live battle game that during for half an hour, because there is some games that just be so quickly in 5-2-0. And I think tonight we get a lot of experience as the commander, but both team has a squad leader of troops because they don't know how the sector, how to keep some defense on sector. Just look up when you are aircraft, just fly over your head. Who sometimes just to get the good timing to clean a supply ahead or some ahead spawn. And there is I'm very proud of the leveling of the server too, because last Squad Lab Battles weeks was a mess into that was into the forest in il 30 il 300. I don't know. So this is a forest. Don't go for picking some mushrooms. Stay focused and play together as a team.
Well,
Thanks
yep.
to you.
No, thank you both. There you go. You heard it from these guys. Like, the answer to the problems of squad line battle at the moment is for everybody to try and play squad line battle. Groundbreaking stuff. So yeah, talk to Glenn, talk to Nazbrock, talk to me, talk to Werner about coming in as commander next week. Like Nazbrock said, even if you're not experienced, just speak to another commander. There's a lot to learn here for everyone. You can expect players to be excellent, as we've just heard, like a million shout outs to great communication. So you can expect responsive squads waiting for your command. So let us know. Thank you both for coming on again. And yeah, we'll leave it there unless there's anything else that you guys want to call out. I mean, we could kind of synopsize the game again, but just watch it.
Yeah,
it's a great one.
Fully agreed.
Very exciting.
I'm completely done. Thanks so much again, and yeah, hopefully this will motivate some more people to partake again. And yeah, really looking forward to seeing you guys on the battlefield, or to kill you.
Yeah, just
Take
look at some squad to be involved into the squad lol button on Tuesday. So keeping it going, and thanks to everyone.
See you guys.
Good evening, guys.
Okay, there you go. Nice to hear from the commanders again, and thank them very much. Thank you, all the organisers. Thanks for watching. I'm Glann. Take it easy. Goodbye.